Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing great. I wanted to share a video with you and check out all these flowers I had to choose from. Um, and I chose a couple that fit into this color scheme that I'm going to show you in the next clip. And I actually made several of these. So different colors, but you can see right here what I'm inspired by, this little color strip in this book. And I got this book on Amazon. I've used it a bunch, and some of my things have turned out great, and some of them have not turned out so great. This is one of the ones that I really love. So I am really happy to show you this video. Super excited about it because I think it's just beautiful. For some reason, I had a bunch of flowers that I loved that I had left over, and they just fit together perfectly. So I started out on a 10 by 10 canvas. Now, usually I love to do 12 by 12s, but I ordered the wrong ones the last time I went on Amazon, and I'm using the last of my 10 by 10s to make these bouquets. So I went in with a quinacridone magenta, which is not a very opaque color. And if you were trying to be professional with your approach, I would definitely recommend that you put 2 coats of quinacridone magenta on there. I just went with one because I kind of liked how the white was shining through. I like the weirdness and the textured extra look. So, that's what I chose to go with. And you can choose to do whichever one you want. You can see here I had several hydrangeas left over from a previous project. I believe it was the hydrangea video that I made. Where it had like the log cabin in the back, and then there were dappled leaves, and I haven't had this one for a while, so I'm trying to remember the aspects of it. But it had several different hydrangea shades, like purples and blues and things like that. So I still had some left over from that. And I had some leftover peonies that I actually just was practice making, and those ended up being really awesome, so I really like those. And then what else do I have? Oh yeah, I've got the little teeny tiny roses in like bright pink. Those were super cool. I love those. And then you can see what I'm doing here on the canvas is that I am running my brush off the side, and then I'm scooping the buildup from the brush and like laying it onto the corner. And so it just creates this weird wavy looking ridge. It doesn't show up as well on camera, but I think you'll see it more in the finished piece. Sometimes I just like to do weird stuff because, I mean, anyone can be good at what they do. But I think to be creative and to be weird and just try different techniques, that's like more exciting to me. Sometimes I really want to be good and I want to create a well executed piece, and sometimes I just want to have fun. And I don't think there's any good or bad, it's just whichever mood you're in, let it show in your piece, let it be a reflection of who you are. And I love painting these on the rotating cake stand. A good angle, and I can always spin it and make sure that I'm getting every corner and everything like that. So here I'm just mixing a little bit of a heavy textured green. I forget what the color is, but I don't think they have it anymore, so unfortunately I can't tell you that you can go buy it from Gaffrey. But I am using this green, but it wasn't warm enough for me, so I decided to add a cadmium yellow from Liquitex to it, and then I didn't really mix it properly. And then I'm probably going to just be using a number 3 tip here. It's like a circle, but so the smallest one is like a round circle, and that's a number 1 Wilton tip. And then you go up to a number 3, and it's just a circle, but it's a little bit bigger. So I'm just placing it inside the piping bag and making sure it's snugly in there because you don't want it to fall backwards into the piping bag as you're trying to get your work done. Sometimes it still happens for me, but it's always annoying, so I always try to make sure that the bag kind of stretches a little bit around the tip and kind of holds it in place. So now I'm just scooping the paint into the bag, and you can see because I didn't have it mixed in properly that there's going to be some beautiful variations to the color. And I love to use these food scraper thingies that I bought from Amazon because they're the perfect tool for me to use, especially when I'm squeegeeing the paint from the Gaffrey bags from one side to the other. So I recommend getting those if you're interested in doing things like I do things. And then whenever I've got a lot of excess piping bag, I like to cut it off in the back because I don't want it dragging through the wet paint, you know? And I really am a fan of doing like these subtle S-shaped curves. I just find that speaks to me a lot, and I really enjoy this part of the process. I just kind of go in there and I start, putting in some organic shapes and kind of letting the structure begin to form under my hands. It's very fun. It's intuitive, I guess. Sometimes not, like you just saw. But I like to mix it up a little bit here and there. I love to do these little curly cues. And sometimes, your piping tip doesn't really cooperate, but it is what it is. And if you don't like a certain part, just go ahead and pop a flower over the top of it. It'll be fine. No one's even gonna see it. It is all good. And then, of course, I love to use my extra paint here and create some dollops onto the canvas. Some of them are going to be for setting flowers on. Some of them are going to be turned into leaves, as you're going to see in a minute, and some of them are decorative. So there's a variety of ways in which you can do stuff at this step. So I love to set my palette knife on top and just drag it outward. Sometimes I drag it inward as well. It's just a matter of which shape do you want to see more of. And I like to pull that, the shapes outwards because I love that weird texture you get at the end of the petal, like pointing outwards. I don't really know the term for that, but I love how it looks. And sometimes I like to take this step and place some color on the back of the palette knife before I give it a drag, I guess, before I scoot over the top of it and pull it out, because then it just adds like this extra element that isn't there right now. And at this point, I also love to write my name on there because I love to use the same paint for the greenery and the same paint for my name, or a similar one. Like if I'm doing twigs or seeds or something like that, sometimes I'll just use that one. It's just fun, It's fun because it kind of matches it, but also it stands out a little bit extra. And then, of course, going in with my favorite tip of all time. This is the 1M. I believe it's also called a drop flower. I've had this one forever. I bought some new ones from Amazon because I wanted to have more of it on hand. And when they arrived, they were more open the tips were kind of sticking straight out, and I wasn't really happy with that, so I just kind of, and I showed this in another video, how I bent them closed a little bit. I just took the tines that were sticking straight out and I just bent them towards each other. It worked perfectly. So if you order one from Amazon and it doesn't arrive looking the way you thought, you might be able to adjust it a little bit in your own home. So just so you don't get discouraged or anything. Sometimes when I order tips too, they arrive bent. It's just a matter of problem solving at that point, and it happens. Life happens, so you just got to figure out what to do next. And usually they're really bendy, so you can just bend them right back. It is not a problem. So here I'm going in with, I believe, a Vermeer blue, and then I'm going in with a, I don't actually know the color of this one. It's like a pale lavender shade, but I don't know the actual name of it. Might be periwinkle. You know what? I'm pretty sure it's periwinkle. Yeah. And what I'm doing there is I'm creating this nice little wraparound donut kind of thing. And you can see it's not really going, which is unfortunate. But I love to place the lighter color on the inside and the darker color on the outside. And I'm still learning how to do this better so that I actually get the results I want more frequently. I don't know why, but sometimes it just doesn't work out for me, and then it just kind of squishes halfway, but that's okay. It still looks beautiful, even if the light color isn't in the dead center of your finished piping result. And then at this point, I just like to squish it out of the saran wrap just a little bit so that it has a smooth start. And then, because otherwise, the paint might get a little squished to the side or whatever. If you practice doing this, you'll kind of get a feel for how it feels when it's working just right. But you gotta practice it a couple times before you get to that comfort level. And then I'm just going in and squishing in this paint, and you can see that beautiful two-tone shade that's happening. I had intended for it to be more in the center, but as you can see, it's more off to the side, but it's not ugly. It's not a fail. So, that's pretty cool. I always encourage experimentation because that's my preferred approach a lot of the time, and it's a lot of fun. There's so much fun in experimentation, at least for me. So I'm just creating I really like to do this stamping effect where I have a little bit of paint on the tip, and then I just go and I stamp it into that background, and I just think it's so cute and it's so subtle, and it just has kind of this this feeling of like having it fading from bold on the inside to kind of faded and subtle on the outside, but it's all very cohesive, and I love how it feels. It's so cute. I do it a lot now. And then these two, we're going to call them blobs, even though it doesn't sound nice. We're going to take these two blobs of like blue paint, and I think that's where I'm going to be focusing most of the hydrangeas. But I'm still going to be using some of that wet paint from the leaves, the branches, and the drop flower I just piped. And I'm going to be sticking some of the bigger flowers in the edges of that, so they'll still be glued down tight. And then I'm going to leave the most of those two mounds to be my hydrangea blossoms, bouquet. I don't know. whatever they're going to be. Um, Hydrangea heads, that's what they're called. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do know. Okay, so I had this weird little gap on this flower and I was filling it in with another color that matched. Um, because I knew if the blue comes through that flower through the little hole, it's going to look super weird. It's going to stand out like crazy. It's going to be a major eyesore. So I kind of like patched it with a little bit of, I think, like warm gray or something like that. Whatever I had in the center. It's looking a little washed out here on my monitor, but it is pink with a, not cream, with a titanium buff center. And then around the center, I have piped a little bit of like a cream color. It's like a very, very pale, I think it's a Naples yellow, but mixed with white. So it's very pale. It looks really nice in real life. It is not showing up on camera quite accurately. Yeah, I did a couple of these. A couple of these 10 by 10s because I had so many flowers and I really wanted to make new ones. But I had to use what I had in my closet first, otherwise, I wouldn't have any space to make new things and store them. So I made a couple of these and I thought it was such a great opportunity for me to kind of practice constructing a bouquet and playing around with different color combinations, and it was really fun. And this is by far my favorite of the, I think, four of them that I did. I did three of them in one day, and then I did like another one on the next day or something like that. Um, I really like this one. I think it's so bright, it's so juicy, it's so gorgeous, and uh, the other ones, they were different color combinations, but this is a color combination that I feel really happy about. And it's a little bit brighter, I think, even than my usual preferred choices. So that's kind of fun too. And then I have one more that I'm going to make for you guys in the next video. And that one's going to have a blue background and then some pink and green and I don't even know. I'm trying to remember, but you'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But I hope you guys are really liking these, and if you are, please let me know. And also let me know what you guys want to see more of, because I am really trying to bring the people, you guys, what you want. So talk to me in the comments, tell me more, tell me what you guys love to see and what you haven't maybe seen from me that you would like to see from me. That's fine too. And in the meantime, I've got a couple ideas for things I'm working on, and I have got, I don't know, I've got tons of ideas. I have a list. I've got a binder with a list. And in addition, I'm also giving you guys like, I'm just being more transparent, I guess, like showing you guys more about me and what I do and stuff like that. Because I am such a multi-passionate person, there's really a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, like all of the time. Uh, like I said, I'm also working on a book right now. It's called Cultivating Peace. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I am not sure yet if I am planning to create another channel where I'm going to talk about that book and that sort of content, or if I'm just going to stick to a very organized approach and keep everything on the main Lemon and Sunshine channel. Um, because my life is not very niche, I feel almost like maybe my YouTube channel shouldn't be too niche either, because that's not my personality. But if you guys feel strongly about it, you can definitely let me know. And, I'm definitely looking to provide a smooth experience for you guys. For instance, if you only care about the painting, I want to keep it easy for you guys to access that. So let me know. Let me know. It's a process in the making, and, you know, it can change and morph and evolve at any time. So there's no such thing as being locked in. I love this painting so much. These colors are just so pretty. So much fun to watch it back. I think it's great. And you can see, of course, how I clean my tips. I try to squeeze all the paint out of it into the trash can, which I have on the floor there next to me. And then once the tip has like as little paint in it as possible, then I put it in water, I let it soak, and then I clean it out after. Because I really don't want this paint to build up in my drains. That would just be no fun at all. So it's always good to be responsible and do a good job of cleaning your tips. And then I'm just taking the same color that I had for the background, and I am adding some centers into the flowers here. I think I ended up doing centers for the hydrangeas as well. And I'll just have to wait and see along with you guys. It's been a minute since I made this. And also, since this video, I have gotten a new phone and my footage is just way clearer and way brighter, and I'm just so excited to bring you guys better content. So I'm always working on trying to refine and create a more seamless product. And this new phone is sure going a long way to help with that. Oh yeah, and sometimes you can pull the flowers right off. I don't know why I did, but you can see I kind of do whatever I think I should be doing at the moment, and I see what happens. Because sometimes that's just the best thing to do. Oh, I wanted to place a leaf in there. Yeah. I had these leaves left over from a different project. Well, actually, it wasn't even a project. It was just from a day where I was just trying a whole bunch of different piping techniques just for fun to see what I could create. I'm thinking I want to make a video for you guys sometime that's just weird, and maybe I'll just go live someday when I'm feeling inspired to just show you guys kind of what I do some days, because I usually show you guys clips that are, well, let's just put it this way. These are all processes that take a long time to dry in between each one, which means I'm always working on several projects at one time over here. So I wasn't sure about going live because it would just, I feel it would be confusing and hard to follow what I'm actually working on and which things are in which process. So I'm still going to be doing these videos, but some days I just kind of go off of intuition alone and I just try a whole bunch of stuff. And some days you're just piping along and everything's going so good, and you're like, well, what if I just go like this? Or what if I just made like that? And then sometimes the best flowers you've ever seen yourself create come out of those types of sessions. So maybe someday I'll show you guys a video like that as well, because I think those are helpful. And I always love to see other artists' processes because I think that's it's such a sacred and unique and special type of thing. Like every single person has such a different approach, and I just think that's really neat. I think that's part of what makes us so unique and have our own voice and everything like that. Um, so I'd just like to show you guys how I do things too, just in case that feeds a part of your soul that you need uh, to keep going and working on whatever you're working on. I just create content that I like to see from other people, and it's fun for me to create it this way. So I hope that's what you guys like too. And you can, of course, always share your opinions. I'm always happy to hear. And I'm always happy to see your artwork. So you can use the hashtag Lemon and Sunshine Art Community, and I can follow that and see all your stuff. I would be super happy about that. And it's just time to give it its last once over, just making sure it kind of is coming together. Now, I think just the other day I went in and I added yellow centers instead of these green ones because I thought it popped more. So I think in the end, when I show you the reveal, I think it's going to have the yellow flowers or not yellow flowers, yellow centers instead. So it'll look a smidge different, but not by much, not by much at all. Pretty, so gorgeous. I love it. So exciting. Come on, Amber, show us the reveal. I watch these right along with you guys. When I do my voiceover, I'm just sitting here watching the video and talking about it. And I get impatient too. Come on, show us the reveal. Gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so pretty. So much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.